Hi, my name is Harold, and my research project would be regarding the Fukushima earthquake that occurred this year. If you don't know, Fukushima Prefecture is located on Japan's eastern Pacific coast at the southernmost part of the Tohoku region, and on February 13th, 2021, a powerful magnitude 7.3 earthquake struck Fukushima. The quake was the second highest level, jolted Miyagi and Fukushima prefectures in the Tohoku region. No tsunami warning was issued, but the earthquake was the strongest hit in the region since April 7th, 2021. I actually chose this location because I personally have a few friends who live in the Tohoku region. My friend Toshi actually notified me that the earthquake was pretty strong, but no one was hurt, and it was actually confirmed by Japan Times that people were reported hurt in Fukushima and nearby cities such as Miyagi, Ibaraki, Tochigi, Saitama, and Chiba prefectures, but no serious injuries were confirmed. However, nationwide, at least 950,000 homes temporarily lost power, so that kind of sucked. But in terms of tectonic settings, again, Fukushima Prefecture is located on Japan's eastern Pacific coast at the southernmost part of the Tohoku region. Japan's main island lies at the intersection between three tectonic plates, the Eurasian, Philippine, and North American. The geometry of the plates in Japan is a bit weird, but broadly speaking, the oceanic crust of the Pacific plate is converging on the Eurasian and Philippine plate and is subducting between or beneath the continental crust of Japan. In terms of the rate of relative plate motion, the Pacific plate moves towards the Okhotsk at around 8 to 9 centimeters per year, which is pretty speedy for a tectonic plate. And as the two moved past each other, the stresses in the crust built up until they were released in the earthquake. As these plates converged and jostled for position at the boundaries, compresential stress built up along the moving plate boundaries, and it's the release of this stress that causes the earthquakes in Japan. And in Fukushima, there are a lot of mountains, few rivers, and a few volcanoes located there. I provided the list of the mountains, rivers, and volcanoes on this slide, so feel free to check them out. If I were to go through them though right now, I'm pretty sure I'd go above 5 minutes, but anyways, the mountains were created due to plate movement and constant collision of the continental plates of Philippines and Eurasia. And the main rock types in Fukushima are sedimentary rocks and plutonic rocks. Plutonic rocks are igneous rocks formed from magma, which of course comes from the volcanoes in Fukushima, that are forced into older rocks at depths within the Earth's crust, which then slowly solidifies below the Earth's surface. The geological history of Fukushima Prefecture continues to reveal the highly complex nature of radioactive contamination, with evidence that recontamination and levels of radiation exposure remain a bit high for the safe return of populations, despite people still living there. So really, it's not too safe to live there, but people still choose to do so. And there are actually well-documented geological reasons why Japan is so earthquake prone. Japan and earthquakes go hand in hand due to the country's position along the Pacific Ring of Fire, where it lies across the three tectonic plates. If you weren't paying attention, it includes the Pacific plate under the Pacific Ocean and the Philippine Sea plate. The disaster that I'm discussing about, though, didn't lead to a huge chain of events, actually, but the magnitude of the earthquake just led to a power outage for a few hours and reports of people hurt, but no fatal injuries, in which I mentioned in the beginning. However, in 2011, there was a major nuclear disaster which actually affected Fukushima drastically. To go in depth, the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster was a 2011 nuclear accident at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant in Okuma, Fukushima Prefecture, Japan. That's a tongue twister. But the event was caused by the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami. The earthquake had a magnitude of 9 to 9.1, and then followed by a tsunami. The earthquake and tsunamis badly damaged the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, eventually causing 4 of the 6 reactors there to release radiation into the atmosphere and ocean. Radioactive waste water has been discharged into the Pacific Ocean since then. As a result of the Fukushima accident, not only was radioactive material released into the atmosphere, but it also contaminated their water, primarily the water that was fed into the reactors for emergency cooling, but also the groundwater penetrating into the reactor. Not to mention, the number of confirmed deaths during that whole disaster was 15,894 as of June 10th, 2016, according to the Reconstruction Agency, but also more than 25,000 people are still reported missing, which is very sad. And the takeaway from the geologists are already aware that Fukushima and Japan as a whole is earthquake prone due to the country's position along the Pacific Ring of Fire. To prepare against tectonic hazards, though, Japan's buildings are made earthquake proof with the aid of deep foundation and massive rock absorbers that dampen seismic energy. For those trapped, all offices and many private houses in Japan have an earthquake emergency kit. They include dry rations, drinking water, basic medical supplies. Also, experts say Japan is probably the most prepared place in the world for a tsunami. Japan has a network of early warning instrumentation systems to sense earthquakes on the ocean floor. They've also built seawalls to protect against tsunamis in some of their coastal cities. And for the future, in 2022, workers will test a remotely operated mechanical arm to retrieve small amounts of fuel debris believed to be at the bottom of the Unit 2 reactor. However, major challenge is disposing of water that gets contaminated as it circulates through the reactors to remove residual heat from the fuel debris. And these are my sources, and I guess that's all for now. Thank you for your time, and I hope to hear your feedback. Have a good one, and stay safe, of course. Thank you.